Page for Thursday, April 14th, 2022. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has followed through on a vow to make President Biden feel some of the pain of illegal immigration, sending a busload of migrants to Washington. The group of about 24 was dropped off just north of the U.S. Capitol, and Stephen Dinan and Tom Howe report Abbott says more are on the way. The governor says the moves are intended to expose the inaction by the White House, which he says has fostered the most chaotic border situation in decades. The White House said it was unworried by the migrants' arrival, saying they were caught, processed, and released by Homeland Security, and suggesting they wanted to come to the D.C. region anyway. Economists say the money approved by Congress last year for overhauling the nation's roads and bridges is worth less today because of inflation, which has pushed construction costs higher. Harris Alec reports the same cost issues vexing Americans are frustrating the infrastructure overhaul, and state and local governments are already finding projects running significantly over budget. In Michigan, the cost of bridge construction and repair is 40% higher this year than initially estimated by the state's transportation department. Much of the increase is because raw materials needed for projects are limited as a result of the ongoing supply chain crisis. The American Road and Transportation Builders Association says the cost of raw materials for highway and road construction has soared over the past year. Prices of iron and steel have climbed by 50% over the past 12 months, and asphalt is up 37.5%. The price of pre-stressed concrete bridge beams is up 22.7%, and costs of concrete blocks have risen 8.7%, according to the data. Finland and Sweden have signaled they may announce plans to join NATO within a matter of weeks, offering further evidence that the war in Ukraine has only hardened anti-Russian sentiment across the West. Ben Wolfgang reports the developments are in direct response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine and the actions of Russian troops during the nearly 2-month-old conflict. Finnish leaders say they'll make a decision on NATO membership well before the alliance's June summit in Madrid. Meanwhile, Swedish Prime Minister Magdalena Andersson said her country has initiated a security review that is expected to be completed by May 31st. Although U.S. and NATO officials have ruled out sending troops to help fight Russia, the Biden administration has pledged $3.2 billion to Ukraine, including $2.6 billion since the invasion began on February 24th. A reminder that you can find all these stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page. Also a reminder that you can find our entire lineup of podcasts at WashingtonTimes.com/podcasts. Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson is facing a tidal wave of Democratic challengers seeking to oust him from Congress. Tom Nelson, a county executive and one of several Democrats vying for Johnson's seat, said animosity toward Johnson has grown in the past decade, and the more than dozen challengers running to defeat him showcase that. Mika Selner reports they cite their irreconcilable disagreements over the U.S. Capitol riot, Johnson's leadership of the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee, and his oft-repeated falsehoods about the 2020 election. Other Democrats challenging Johnson include Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes, State Treasurer Sarah Godlewski, and Alex Lasry, the son of Milwaukee Bucks co-owner Mark Lasry. And finally, classical colleges and schools are expanding programs to meet an uptick in interest. Valerie Richardson reports they're becoming increasingly popular with conservatives who don't like the curriculum of public schools or mandates related to public health. As its name suggests, classical education has its origins in ancient Greece and Rome. The emphases include the preservation and restoration of the liberal arts. Find all of today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app. And find us on any major podcast platform. Just search Washington Times in your favorite podcast app. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.